Civilizations rise, thrive, and inevitably decline, a pattern as old as history itself. Sir John Glubb, a historian and military officer, studied this recurring phenomenon in his essay, The Fate of Empires and the Search for Survival. By analysing 3,000 years of history across 11 distinct civilizations, Glubb concluded that empires follow a predictable life cycle, typically lasting around 250 years, or about 10 generations. These cycles unfold in 6 stages, each revealing how human ambition, creativity, and ultimately excess shape the fate of great powers. The cycle begins with the Age of Pioneers, a period of raw energy and survival. This stage often sees a small, struggling society rise to prominence through determination, adaptability, and innovation. For example, the Assyrians started as a minor Mesopotamian kingdom, but their relentless focus on military organization and technological ingenuity transformed them into a dominant empire. This phase is marked by courage and a lack of established traditions, allowing societies to experiment and adapt rapidly. The next phase, the Age of Conquests, is characterized by organized expansion. Civilizations in this stage consolidate their power through disciplined armies and efficient governance. The Roman Republic is a quintessential example. What began as a city on the Tiber River grew into a vast empire through strategic military campaigns and alliances. This period is often seen as the height of a civilization's external power, as conquest brings resources, prestige, and security. The age of commerce follows, driven by the wealth accumulated through expansion. Trade flourishes, cities grow, and the focus shifts from conquest to economic prosperity. The British Empire during the 18th and 19th centuries exemplifies this stage. With colonies spanning the globe, British merchants fueled an unprecedented era of material wealth and cultural exchange. However, as Glubb notes, prosperity often marks the beginning of a society's internal transformation. With wealth comes a change in values. The age of affluence sees ambition shift from collective honour to personal gain. Citizens prioritise comfort over sacrifice, and civic duty begins to erode. While still powerful, civilizations in this stage lose the sense of urgency that once drove their rise. Internal divisions grow as economic inequality and political corruption take root. Civilizations then enter the Age of Intellect, a period marked by cultural and intellectual achievements. Universities and institutions flourish, but intellectual pursuits often come at the cost of societal unity. Resources are poured into academic and artistic endeavours, but the collective drive that once fueled expansion fades. The Byzantine Empire, for instance, made remarkable advancements in art and theology, but struggled with political infighting and declining cohesion. Finally, the age of decadence emerges. Materialism, internal conflict, and a defensive mindset dominate this stage. Civilizations lose the vigour of earlier eras, becoming vulnerable to external threats and unable to address internal crises. Glubb described this phase as one of talk without action, where complacency prevents meaningful solutions. Glubb's framework reveals a universal truth. Civilizations, despite their differences, follow similar paths. Whether marching with spears or navigating with steam engines, their rise and fall echo through history. This raises a crucial question. Can societies break free from this pattern, or are we destined to repeat it? Ancient Greece stands as a prime example of John Glubb's cyclical theory of civilizations. Its history follows the same stages he described, showcasing the rise, peak, and eventual decline of a once thriving society. The story of Greece unfolds across 3 defining eras: the Archaic period, the Classical period, and the Hellenistic period. Each aligns closely with Glubb's framework, revealing how ambition and prosperity can ultimately lead to fragmentation and decay. The Archaic period, between 800 BCE and 480 BCE, corresponds to the Age of Pioneers, a time when small, scattered Greek communities began to organise into independent city-states, or poleis. Emerging from the turmoil of the Greek Dark Ages, these early societies thrived on resilience and innovation. Adapting to Greece's challenging geography of mountains and islands, they cultivated self-sufficiency and developed unique governance systems. Colonization became a key strategy during this era, with Greeks establishing settlements across the Mediterranean and Black Sea regions. Cities like Miletus and Syracuse expanded trade networks, spreading Greek culture far beyond the Aegean. This pioneering spirit reflected the raw energy and creativity Glubb attributes to the early stages of a civilization's rise. The classical period between 480 BCE and 323 BCE marked the age of conquests and commerce for Greece. Victories in the Persian Wars united the polis temporarily, fostering a sense of collective identity. Athens emerged as the leader, leveraging its naval power to dominate the Delian League and establish an empire. This era was the zenith of Greek civilization, celebrated for its remarkable achievements in philosophy, art, and politics. Figures like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle revolutionized thought, while architects and sculptors created masterpieces such as the Parthenon, embodying the ideals of balance and harmony. Economic prosperity also flourished during this period. Maritime trade brought wealth to Athens and other city-states, shifting societal values from martial honor to commercial success. Yet this shift sowed seeds of discord. The Peloponnesian War, 431 BCE and 404 BCE, between Athens and Sparta, exemplified the internal rivalries that often undermine empires in their prime. The conflict left both powers weakened, setting the stage for external domination. The Hellenistic period, 323 BCE and 31 BCE, aligns with the age of intellect and decadence. After Alexander the Great's conquests, his empire fragmented into Hellenistic kingdoms. Greek culture spread across vast territories, blending with local traditions in regions as far as Egypt and India. This cultural diffusion created a golden age of intellectual and artistic achievement. However, within Greece itself, the city-states lost their independence and vitality. Political power shifted to foreign rulers, and internal unity faded. This stage reflects Glubb's description of decadence. Materialism increased, civic engagement declined, and once dominant societies became vulnerable to external forces. Rome, capitalizing on Greece's divisions, eventually absorbed the fractured Hellenistic kingdoms, marking the end of Greek sovereignty. The Greek experience mirrors the trajectories of other civilizations, from Rome to the British Empire. Their rise was fueled by energy and innovation, their height defined by cultural and economic prosperity, and their decline marked by internal divisions and external pressures. Greece's story is a timeless reminder of the cyclical nature of human history. While John Glubb's framework suggests that civilizations inevitably decline, history reveals a more nuanced reality. The fall of an empire does not always mark the end of its influence. Instead, many civilizations experience cycles of renewal, with their cultural, intellectual, and political legacies shaping future societies. This enduring impact suggests that while the structures of power may crumble, the ideas and achievements of a civilization often find new life in unexpected forms. A prime example of this renewal is the influence of ancient Greece on the Roman Empire. After Greece's decline during the Hellenistic period, its cultural and intellectual heritage did not disappear. The Romans admired and absorbed Greek achievements, incorporating them into their own society. Greek philosophy, particularly the works of Plato and Aristotle, became foundational to Roman education. Roman writers like Cicero openly acknowledged their debt to Greek thinkers, blending Greek ideals with their own practical governance. Architecture and art also reflect this renewal. Roman buildings such as the Pantheon borrowed heavily from Greek principles of symmetry and proportion, adapting them to larger, more monumental scales. Even religion and mythology underwent a transformation, as the Romans adopted Greek gods and myths, renaming them and integrating them into Roman traditions. In many ways, the Roman Empire can be seen as a continuation of Greek civilization under a different banner. This cycle of renewal extended far beyond antiquity. Centuries after the fall of Rome, the ideas of ancient Greece experienced another revival during the European Renaissance. Intellectuals like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo drew inspiration from Greek art's emphasis on the human form and balance. Philosophers rediscovered Greek texts preserved by Arab scholars during the Middle Ages, leading to a renewed interest in reason, science, and individualism. This rediscovery of Greek ideals played a crucial role in shaping modern Western thought. Even today, the legacy of Greek civilization endures in democratic systems of governance, scientific principles, and artistic standards. The principles of debate and free thought introduced by Socrates, the mathematical theories of Pythagoras and Euclid, and the dramatic works of Sophocles continue to influence education and culture worldwide. This pattern of renewal is not unique to Greece. Other civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China have similarly passed their cultural legacies to successor states or neighbouring regions. For instance, the scientific advancements of the Islamic Golden Age were deeply influenced by Greek and Roman texts, which were translated and expanded upon. These contributions later fueled Europe's scientific revolution. Rather than disappearing entirely, civilizations often leave behind blueprints for future societies to build upon. Their successes and failures serve as lessons for those who follow, creating a continuous cycle of influence and adaptation. This raises a compelling question. Do civilizations ever truly end, or do they persist through the ideas, innovations, and values they leave behind? In the case of Greece, its spirit never truly died. It lives on in the democratic ideals we cherish, the philosophical debates we engage in, and the artistic and architectural standards we still strive to achieve. While the structures of empires may fade, their legacies can inspire generations to come, proving that even in decline, civilizations can find new ways to endure.